All right, guys, here's the long-awaited birth story. So pretty much started where we went on a walk. I had finally hit 37 weeks and I'd been on bed rest for months. So I was like, okay, let's go on a little walk. So we went on a walk just down the street and back. It was really fast. And then a few hours later, I went to bed. And it was around midnight where I started feeling a couple contractions, which, by the way, I get consistently all the time throughout my whole pregnancy. So Braxton Hicks, are a huge thing for me. I don't believe it's labor or anything yet, but they were pretty back-to-back, 2 minutes apart right away. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna call my fiance and just let him know to pack the bags. So I called him and I was like, hey, I think you should pack the bags because I had a few contractions. So just in case it's labor, maybe pack the bags, because I had a feeling all day I was going to go into labor that night, so just to be safe. And he was like, well, I can get it done in 3 minutes, so just let me know if you need me to in an hour. And I was like, well, how about this? If I have one more contraction, then you pack the bags. And he was like, okay. So he stayed on the phone with me, and right when my next contraction was supposed to start, I started feeling leaking. And so I was still on the phone with him, and I'm like, let me check because I feel leaking. And I checked and it was blood. And so I told him and he started running upstairs, and right then I stood up because I didn't want to get blood on my bed. So I stood up, and right then and there literally just started gushing blood, which sounds terrible. I probably need to bleep that out or TikTok will take this down, but I started gushing blood. And at the time I thought my water had broken, and it was a mix of the two because I never had my water break on my own before, even though this was my third baby. So my fiance was like, I think your water broke. And I was like, oh, I guess, right? That makes sense. But why am I bleeding so much? And hence the videos you guys probably saw. So it was really chaotic. I just thought it was my water. I called my mom. I called Reason's mom. We didn't think much of it. We should have. Because come to find out, my water had never broken. It was all blood. So we should have been more worried, but we honestly weren't. We didn't think it was that big of a deal. We never experienced anything like that before. We were very stupid looking back at it now. But so pretty much, we didn't have time to pack bags at that point. And I called my mom. We were just gonna have my mom meet us at the hospital because we wanted to make sure we got there fast. Because I have really fast labors. So the reason we wanted to get there so fast was because we thought my water had broken. So we were about to leave, and then we realized that we couldn't find the keys. Reason had lost the keys, of course. So change of plans, my mom was gonna come to our house, and Reason started packing the bags in the meantime. So my mom came to the house, and my mom ended up getting pulled over on the way because she ran a stop sign. So my mom came with a cop, and we had a police escort to the hospital because my assumption is they honestly just wanted to make sure my mom wasn't lying about the fact her daughter was in labor, but it was kind of, just added to the plot. So we get to the hospital finally. I'm still leaking nonstop. I had literal towels in my pants. TMI, but I did. And we get to the hospital. We go into where they check us, and I was like, so is it normal to bleed this much when your water breaks? And she's like, no. And I was like, ooh, okay. So honestly, this whole experience was so fast because from the time my first contraction started when we were at home to the time I had the baby was less than 2 hours. So if that gives you an idea of how fast this was, I think we were at the hospital for maybe an hour before I had the baby. So it was crazy. So come to find out, I had a placenta abruption, and my doctor was really concerned because 95% of placenta abruptions lead to emergency C-section. So in that moment, he was like, here's your options. You can either get the epidural, because I wanted to go all natural. Keep in mind, my whole plan was to have a natural birth. So he was like, you can get the epidural, and then when we go back for an emergency C-section, it's going to be a lot easier of a process. But if not, then the chances are you're going to go back for an emergency C-section, and we're going to have to give you anesthesia, which will knock you out, and your fiance won't be able to be in the room. So we talked it over for probably 5 seconds because we had no time to talk it over, and we decided to get the epidural. But, by the way, I'm in a lot of pain at this point. The pain has set in, and I am miserable. I think I'm probably about 8 centimeters now. The guy comes in to do my epidural, which he didn't do an epidural. He did some sort of numbing shot because I couldn't hold still. Like, I was in so much pain that I shouldn't have gotten the epidural. Like, I could not hold still. So he had to do this like numbing shot thing. And right after he did the numbing shot, my lower back started to kill me. Like, I'd never felt pain like this before. And I remember like looking at the like anesthesiologist, and I was like, why does it hurt worse now? And they went to check me, and I think I was at 9 centimeters, and he was like, your baby's heart rate is dropping. We need to push this baby out now. At that point, they should have wheeled me back for a C-section, but they didn't, because the doctor told me that he felt like I could do it because of how my last labors went. So the numbing shot didn't work. I felt everything, like, which is kind of disappointing because I ended up getting the meds and didn't end up feeling it. But I also kind of got to experience it naturally, so I'm gonna like take that as my win. But I had to push this baby out, right? So I start pushing this baby out, and you know how like if you've had a baby, when you push out the baby, you typically do it in between like when you're having contractions. So you push during contractions and then you take a break. I didn't get a break. I had to just keep pushing. And like they were all like getting mad if I like took a break, because not like mad, but like I needed to get this baby out because the baby's heart rate was dropping. I think the baby was like halfway out, and the doctor goes, your baby's heart rate just dropped to 70. You need to push now. And right then and there, I pushed him out one push because I was like, oh, hell no. It was really scary just because like it happened so fast, and like when you hear your baby's heart rate's dropping, that's terrifying, especially when you're in the middle of pushing through the worst pain you've ever experienced and you're not getting any breathing breaks, nothing. Like, I know I explained it all kind of fast, but like honestly it just was really fast. Like, that's how I see it in my head, because it was such a fast experience. Like, I felt like I had no time to breathe. I had no time to think anything over. I didn't get the baby on my chest. He started crying immediately, but they did have to take him away to check him. And they also had to get my placenta out because it obviously abrupted and I was bleeding out. So he made that a priority. I didn't hold the baby for probably 10-15 minutes. My fiance was actually the first to hold the baby, which was kind of cool because it's our first son. But it definitely was not how I had like expected the birth to go, because my previous 2 births were so smooth, like literally just went all as planned. So it was like a lot. Come to find out that it actually could have been prevented because my placenta was blocking like where the baby comes out, and my OB never followed up on that. That's a story time for later. But that's pretty much the birth story. If you have any questions, let me know. But me and the baby are both super healthy. The recovery's been pretty good. So definitely everything worked out how it was supposed to. And bed rest was for a dang good reason, because that baby would probably not be here if I wasn't on bed rest for that long. But that's my story.